Hello everyone. Today we're discussing argumentative writing. If we look closely at the picture in this slide, we'd see two figures pulling in two opposite directions and the phrase, "why I'm right." What does this imply? It implies that each one of them is trying to pull the other to his side and convince him of his point of view or stand. How do you think one would be able to change the other person's stand and pull him to his side? This is done through showing that the opposing argument is based on an insufficient claim, is partially correct, or is completely wrong, and displaying strong reasons that support your position. Based on this, what do you think an argumentative essay is? An argumentative essay is a type of writing in which the author investigates a topic, collects, generates, and evaluates a position on a topic that he or she clearly wants to communicate to the reader. Unlike persuasive writing that focuses on the author's opinion, argumentative writing is a bit more balanced. It shows both sides of the coin, that is, weighing both sides of the issue. An argumentative writer has his or her own opinion to present, along with producing ample evidence on the opposing side as well. But how do we write an argumentative essay? Just like any other essay, an argumentative essay has three parts: an introduction, a body, and a conclusion. And each part serves a purpose. In the case of an argumentative essay, we have to display two different arguments, convincing our reader of our position and refuting the opposing one. For this reason, we need at least 3 body paragraphs in the body part. We need at least 2 to support our position, be it with or against, and 1 body paragraph to display the opposing argument and refute it or argue against it, through showing that it is based on an insufficient claim, that it is partially correct, or that it is completely wrong. So, an argumentative essay has to have at least 5 paragraphs. The first paragraph would be for the introduction, and it should include the hook, the lead-in sentence, and the thesis statement. Then you would have 2 body paragraphs that would serve your argument. You would have 1 paragraph for the counter-argument and refutation, and you would have 1 paragraph for the conclusion, where you should have at least the 3 functions, one of which is restating the thesis statement using different words, followed by other functions like giving advice, suggesting solutions, giving recommendations, and many others. But what is the strategy or method that you can follow to prepare an argumentative essay? Before you start writing, it is imperative to make a T-chart with the pros and cons for supporting and refuting your topic. For example, legalizing euthanasia. If you check this T-chart, you would notice that it has pros or benefits of euthanasia and cons or downsides of euthanasia. Please pause the video in order to be able to check the table closely. Now, after filling the T-chart, you have to take a stand and choose the 2 strongest points to support it, and the strongest point that supports the opposing argument to refute it. Now that you've brainstormed, taken a stand, and chosen the 2 strongest points that support your position and the strongest point that supports that of the counter-argument, it is time to prepare your introductory paragraph. What should your introductory paragraph include? It should include a hook, which could be a quotation, a series of questions, a definition, shocking facts and statistics, etc., in addition to the explanation that follows. You then narrow down to reach the lead-in sentence, which links the hook to the thesis statement. In the case of an argumentative essay, you can use this lead-in sentence in all argumentative essays. This lead-in sentence is: this topic has proved to be rather juicy and controversial, igniting 2 opposing points of view. Finally, we have the thesis statement, which has a specific format. If you are with or for, you would start with also, although some argue that. Then you write the counter or opposing argument. You then use the word because and the strongest idea in the cons followed by a comma. Then you mention your opposition, or one cannot help but disagree. You use since to mention the two controlling ideas that support your stand, and you mention reason 1 or pros 1 because you are with, reason 2 or pros 2 because you are with, and reason 3 or pros 3 because you are with. On the other hand, if you are against, you would start with although some argue that, then you mention the counter argument or opposing argument, then you use the word because, after that you mention the strongest idea in the pros, followed by a comma, then you mention your position, or one cannot help but disagree. Then you use the word since, and you mention reason 1, which is con 1 because you're against, reason 2 or con 2 because you're against, and reason 3 or con 3 because you're against. To see how it's done, check the following introductory paragraph. Now here, beauty or the beast. Based on the title, Beauty or the Beast, one can deduce that the text is mostly about two options or opinions related to beauty and ugliness. The author begins with a hook, a catchy hook. This catchy hook is linked to the thesis statement through the lead-in sentence, and it is, yet the topic of cosmetic surgeries has proved to be rather controversial, igniting or instigating innumerable positions which vary between with and against. Finally, you have the thesis statement. In the thesis statement, the counter-argument is with cosmetic surgeries, considering it essential. The point that supports it is boosting one's self-confidence. This is to be discussed in the counter-argument and refutation paragraph. The strongest point that supports your argument, which is against cosmetic surgeries, is the fact that it is highly expensive. The second point that supports your argument is the fact that it is of fatal health complications. So, by now, you must have noticed that there is a formula that you could use in an introductory paragraph, whether you are against or with. If you pause the video, you would be able to closely inspect the structure to be used in an introductory paragraph of an argumentative essay. After having written our introductory paragraph, we develop the body part. Now, as we've already mentioned, you should have at least 2 body paragraphs that support your position, 1 body paragraph, and 1 body paragraph for the counter-argument and refutation. You have 2 options for the arrangement of the body paragraph. The first 2 body paragraphs in option 1 would support your argument, and they would include 2 pros if you are with, or 2 cons if you are against. And the third body paragraph would have the counter-argument and refutation. And it's the opposite in option 2, where the first body paragraph would include the counter-argument and refutation, and the second 2 body paragraphs would include the arguments that support your argument. They would have the 2 pros if you are with, or 2 cons if you are against. Now, each body paragraph should begin with a clear topic sentence, which includes the controlling idea, followed by supporting ideas and details. Now, in each body paragraph, we need to begin with a topic sentence. Then we have the supporting sentences. Still, The structure of the counter-argument and refutation paragraph is special and requires a lot of attention while developing it. For you'd have to mention the opposing argument and support it and then refute it within the same paragraph through showing that they are wrong, are partially correct, or that their argument is based on an insufficient claim. So the counter-argument and refutation would abide by the following structure. Kindly pause the video in order to be able to check the structure of the counter-argument and refutation. Now, to see how the body paragraph could be developed, let's check the following body paragraphs in Beauty or the Beast. As you can see, the first sentence is the topic sentence, which displays the main idea or the controlling idea that supports my position. This is followed by supporting sentences. Same applies to the second body paragraph, where the author begins with the topic sentence followed by supporting sentences. Here we have the counter-argument and refutation. The first sentence here introduces the opposing argument and its strongest point, and it is the topic sentence. The author mentions supporting ideas for this notion. The shift is evident when he uses the transition, however. This word helps readers know that the author is about to start refuting or arguing against the opposing argument. Kindly note that as you refute, you should do so by addressing the strongest point in the opposing argument. Don't deviate from arguing against the points they have mentioned to support their argument. Finally, we have the concluding paragraph, which is supposed to serve at least 3 functions. The first function that a conclusion serves is restating the thesis statement using different words. Then, the author can state a final opinion, give a piece of advice, suggest solutions, present a futuristic view, open a new horizon, or make recommendations. Now, let's see how this is applied in this concluding paragraph. Here, the author restates the thesis statement using different words to reinforce one's position and stand. He also gives a piece of advice and states a final opinion. So, to demonstrate your understanding of an argumentative essay, you are asked to develop the following prompt. As you do so, you can refer back to the T-chart we have displayed here.